Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm speaking with Brooke Casey. She's just released her debut EP titled Clarity, and it is seriously fantastic. Brooke, thank you so much for being here. How are you doing today?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm doing super well myself. Before we started recording, you were telling me all about the crazy lockdowns in Australia right now. And but yeah, I'm just happy that we were able to make this work because the record itself is fantastic and I can't wait to hear all about it.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
super welcome. So to start, everything about it is super beautiful, but it feels like it heavily relies on your lyrics, which are also pretty great as well. I'd really love to hear more about the stories behind the songs.
Yeah, so definitely I'm a singer-songwriter. So the first thing that comes after the chord progression is the lyrics. Majority of the time, the lyrics are the first things written. They can come to me if I'm in the shower, if I'm at the beach, and
Sure.
I'm like, no, like I need to write this down. So each song kind of has like its own sort of journey and story, and it has like a different piece of me. But I guess the reason I called it Clarity, which for people who haven't heard the EP yet, is the first track on the EP itself.
Mhm.
The reason I called it that was because it was the song that really started everything. Like I wrote Couldn't Wait for You, which is the second track first, but Clarity sort of, yeah, like it's just such a beautiful word, I think. And it kind of just tied it all in together. Like I started writing this EP, I think I had the idea during the first lockdown in Australia.
Okay.
Um,
And
yeah,
when
and
was
that was
that? Because there have been so many lockdowns
yeah,
from
I
my
know.
understanding.
I'm in Wollongong, which is for people
Okay.
who don't know, it's about an hour and a half from Sydney.
Okay.
So I think our first one was this time last year. Literally, I've
Oh,
got memories
geez.
coming up on my phone that were from this time last year.
Same.
Yeah,
Same
and I'm
here.
literally, I'm like, are you kidding? So
That's so
I went
funny.
through a lot of yeah, I went through a lot of realizations during that time. Obviously, we were all inside, and for me, I have a history with depression,
Mhm.
with mental health and stuff. So it was really kind of challenging, but it was sort of like an outlet to just get emotions out. And it continued. Like it didn't just happen in lockdown. Like I kept writing this EP when things went back to normal, and I had a lot of life experiences with friends and just with myself and realizing a lot of things about myself. So yeah. Do you want me to go through each song step by step
No, not
or
necessarily.
sorry.
That's okay. Things will come up. I also
Yeah.
really wanted to, I mean, I have a bunch of questions for you, but
Yeah, yeah.
I want to hear more about the production side of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mainly because so the album itself, it it starts off sort of softer in a way, but then it sort of picks up instrumentally, which I was
Yeah.
not expecting and was a
Yeah.
very pleasant surprise. So
Yeah.
I want to hear how you sort of shaped it all, if you had any outside help with the tracks, and then I know that there are some features on there as well. So feel
Yeah.
free to just expand and explore, and I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, cool. Well, definitely. Okay, one thing I actually want to say, which is something I'm really proud of, everything was recorded in my house. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, yeah. So I graduated from University of Wollongong with a music degree last year, which was trying to do a music degree during COVID was insane.
Yeah, I
Um,
can't imagine.
Yeah, but it also, I was meant to be doing a recording studio subject during this time, but obviously we couldn't go into the studio. Now, when I have other two other singles, which I'm sure you would have seen on my Spotify, they were recorded in a studio called Animal Audio in Wollongong
Okay.
during COVID. So that was incredible. And I had like a lot of experience in the recording studio, which kind of helped with my uni degree that I didn't get. But when we went to uni and they said most of this has to be done at home, that required us to get equipment. So I ended up accumulating a lot of equipment that I could use at home. And I already had some stuff that my parents had bought me that I hadn't really realized I could use at home.
Okay.
So when it came to recording this EP, I was sort of like, well, we've just done a music degree online at home. Most of us had to record our stuff at home anyway. Why wouldn't I
Sure.
save a couple of dollars and do it here?
Might as
Um,
well. And
yeah,
it helps out for the long term. So now you have a home studio that's
definitely.
viable. Obviously, you can
I
make a
agree.
record from it, and then you can
Yeah,
start building it up and building it up.
I agree. And I mean, it was just, there was something about doing it in your house, it's kind of when you listen to it on Spotify, you think, oh my gosh, we did that at home.
Exactly. Well, you'll remember it forever.
Literally having like your friends just come over, and there's sort of like that freedom of, like you can say certain things in your house that you don't have to look professional. Like it's
totally
very chilled. In terms of outside help, I actually have an amazing person called Carlos Williams. He's actually from my hometown, Griffith. So I grew up in Griffith, 6 hours from here. And he is amazing at mixing and mastering. So he's actually featured called Downfall on Can't Wait For You and Hope You're Happy Now.
Okay.
Basically, I collaborated with him for one of his songs on his EP, and I loved the direction and the powerhouse that he is with his instrumentals. Like he's just incredible. So I actually said to him, I want you for 2 of them, because I really wanted, in these 2 tracks in particular, they're not happy. They're very, I mean, none of them are really happy on this album, but these 2 are really like, that one of them was particularly angry. Hope You're Happy Now was a really angry song. And I knew he could bring that out in a way that, that I wanted to hear. So I basically wrote him like this massive instrumental list. I was like, I want drums, guitar, I want the beat to change here, I want the climax happening here. Like I literally wrote out, I found it the other day and I'm like, oh my gosh, this poor guy.
Amazing. That's really the song that stood out for me the most.
Yeah.
It's the one that was just like, oh, because then you start listening to the lyrics, but the lyrics pair so well with the heaviness of it all. So
yeah, I agree.
That was a great collaboration.
It was just, and it's like, it's a song that we both said it has a really special place in our heart, because it was the song that like he'd do things and that he's so much like, no, I want to show you when it's done, Brooke. Like I want you to be surprised. But this was the one that he like every 5 seconds, like I need to show you, I need to show you, I need to show you.
Sure.
So basically I had some friends like Rachel Tidbury and M Jasmine who were featured on there. They came around, did some vocal lines for me. And they were incredible. Like those girls have got amazing voices. I'm really excited to see like what they do with their music next. And then for drums, I had Ricky Jazeski. He did the drums for 3 of the tracks. And then Jack Andrews did the guitar for those exact same 3 tracks as well. So Jack's always been my guitarist and Ricky's always been my drummer. Jack's recorded 3 different guitars, like bass, electric, and acoustic, in the same tracks in legit 2 hours before and not known the songs. Wow. So very, very talented friends I have, and I met them all at uni. So yeah, like, I mean, it's worth it going to uni, I think, because you get those connections. But we basically just recorded everything and then sent it to Carlos, who then did all the mixing and mastering on his end. I let him put his own flair in. Like there's a few ambient bits in there that he obviously did through audio engineering. And I let him do it because I'm like, it's always good to get a second opinion. Like we don't know everything. I'm only 23 and it's like, your music, I think it just sounds better the more collaboration you can get in there. So yeah, that was kind of like the production side of things. It's my favorite part. It's really rewarding to like see your song come to life. Yeah.
I mean, you've really created like a living, breathing piece of art. You know what I mean? It goes so much more than just the release itself, rather than like you put in the hard work. You have an amazing team, a team that I hope that you can continue to work with for years to come. And that kind of brings me to my next thing here. Obviously, congratulations on this EP. And I know how much work went into it over the past year at this point, like you said. Yeah. But do you have any plans for the future? Are you plotting your next single release, or maybe even another idea for an EP or album?
Yeah, look, I mean, I never stopped writing.
You can't.
Yeah, no, I never had a diary. I never had a journal. I was never that kid.
Okay.
I've always said that if you want to know, I mean, I'm a talker, as you can probably tell. And I tell everyone everything about me, but I've always said to people, if you want to really know beyond just this, listen to my songs. Like there's something about writing lyrics and knowing, I guess you can say, hiding behind the music a little bit, because people tend to just hear a beat and then go, I like it, and not think about the song itself. There's other people that will like me, will just listen to the lyrics, and that's how they determine like how much they like a song. So for me, it's like that safety net. Like I can put it in a song without having to have a big conversation, a big confrontation with people. And just about myself too. Like, I don't have to fight constantly inside of my head with what's right and what's wrong. I can put it in a song and leave it there and move on. So in terms of, there are a lot of plans in process, some that I can't actually talk about right now because I want to keep it a surprise.
That's okay.
Yeah, but there was a lot of stuff that was done before we went into lockdown, thank goodness. So that's in the editing stage right now. There's another thing that I'm going to be actually announcing next week that didn't get done before lockdown, but we're going to make it work. We're just going to do it with the means that we have. We're lucky to have online spaces where we can still record things. So yeah, there's a lot. I want to do this EP big. Like, I feel like there's too much of my emotions and too much of me and too much hard work put into it to just sort of release it and then just leave it and not talk about it and not. And also, like, there's so many people that were involved in it. Like, it wasn't just me. Like, I had all those people that I just talked about in it, and their talent deserves to be talked about as well. There's a lot of things, you know, with the photography and the graphic design, like, as well, that I really want to bring to light. So yeah,
I think that's what people don't understand on the listening end, is it's not just writing music and releasing music. There's a million other aspects of it. And I kind of wanted to touch on a couple things that you just glossed over. As far as, you know, not keeping a diary or a journal, completely understand, because as an artist, it must be almost therapeutic for you to write these songs and not have to explain yourself. You know what I mean? There are, I mean, overwhelmingly, the amount of people that listen to music are not listening to the lyrics. They only pick out the things that are catchy and repeatable. But it must be nice to really get out there, and I hope that it makes you feel better about, you know, whatever you're writing about.
Yeah, it's kind of, it is. It's like peace of mind. It's like, well, someone will hear it and someone will understand, and if people don't, then okay too. Like, I think with me, with my music, as much as it's an emotional outlet for me, I'm a massive Taylor Swift fan. I love Def Leppard growing up. I love Bon Jovi. I love those songs that can hit a place. And I think for me, it's like, I'm such a big like helper with everything that I do. So if it's not for me, I hope someone else hears it and goes, okay, this is a song that I can relate to, and this is a song that I can listen to and feel better about my situation or make sense of how I'm feeling. Because there's so many times where I've been confused, heard a song and it's made sense, and I'm like, that's why I'm feeling it. Or just something you can listen to and go, I'm not alone. Like, someone else has felt that.
It's the power of music. It's the power of music. I mean, people can feel that way in so many different mediums of art. It can be a movie or a TV show, but something about music that you can just relate to and really get into someone's head. I really want to hear about your inspirations on who you listen to and who you kind of grew up with, and who specifically, if there even is a specific person, led you to start making music for yourself.
Like, as an artist or person in my family?
Anyone really. Anyone could be listed as an inspiration.
There's definitely three major ones. Obviously, I just said I love Taylor Swift. I think for me, there's many music artists that have had an influence on my music itself. But I think I remember being like, I think I was like 13. My dad had her music video Love Story playing. I think it was the fact that she was young. She was blonde like me, and she was making it happen for herself. And then the more that I researched, I realized how really young she was, that she came from a very small country town in America. Like, she wasn't living in LA or anything.
Right.
And it's just really inspirational to see someone come from not a lot and then work their way up, just doing what they love and just being really, really open. And then obviously, like, her music speaks for itself. Like, if you're an emotional person like me, then that's what you gravitate to. And people have always said, you know, she writes the same songs over and over, but I'm like, yeah, but you can go through the same situation 5,000 times and feel different about it.
It's true.
Every single time, because you grow as a person. But in terms of like my immediate family, my dad has always, he's not a musician himself, but he's always loved music. He's also my best friend.
I love that.
Yeah, like, my mom and my dad and my brother are my three biggest supporters in life, but dad's really like, it was always, for me, I was the swimmer growing up. I didn't but I like love the performing arts. And for my dad to admit that his little girl didn't want to swim anymore, it was tough. And it was tough for me to tell him that. But now that he sees me like growing, I sort of like, I strive to make him proud. And that comes across in my music. I always like having the acoustic sort of piano stuff there, but the hard hitting tracks, I'm like, this is what dad's going to listen to. And I want to do this.
This is what he's going to show his friends.
Yeah, like this is the one he's going to share. This is the one that he's going to stream every day. So that's like the biggest thing for me. And I think just, I don't know, just showing my dad that I made the right decision walking away from another career that I actually could have gone far with. Like, this is what I want to do. And he's always been so supportive after that. Biggest one, top tier, is my grandmother.
Okay.
I wish she was here to show you how she plays piano. She's absolutely amazing. I remember all the cousins being kids and we used to watch her just like go across the piano. Like, it's really inspirational to watch her, and she's got an amazing voice. And I definitely think that's where I've gotten my love of music from.
Okay.
Like, I think that in terms of like wanting to be like someone, and she was the first person who introduced me to the piano. Like, I was 8 years old and she was like trying to teach me from 4 hours away. And it's really special, actually. I was at her house in Orange before we went into lockdown, luckily. And she was asking me, you know, how's your music going and stuff. And I told her I had an album coming out, and her face just like, yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah, like it was quite special to just see that. Like, I know for her, having someone that loves music that's a grandchild would be very special for her. So yeah, it was just a really nice feeling. And I play piano when I'm there, and she comes in, she goes, oh my gosh, like, you're playing like that, like I can't believe you're playing like that. So yeah, she definitely, and she's my gram, like she means the world to me. And yeah, it's really special to make someone that means so much to you feel really good about something. Yeah,
that's amazing. Honestly, I have to point this out. I asked that question a lot, and you're the only person that has ever shouted out a family member as an inspiration. And I love that, because it's hard to say, because not a lot of people have that support. They're either doing this by themselves, or they have some friends that are like, yeah, keep doing it, like you're doing great. But really having that family support that runs deep is a truly beautiful thing. And you got to be, I mean, I'm sure you know how lucky you are to have that. So you know, I want to know, now that you've chosen to take this path as an artist and a musician, is there one specific thing that you enjoy about it the most?
Oh dear, so many things. I think besides the whole composing something and then recording it and then seeing it come to life, I think it's just the community. I've been lucky enough, but then also not very lucky, to be in so many industries. Like I said before, I was a swimmer, then I was a dancer, and now I'm a singer. So I've been in 3 massive industries.
Oh yeah. Definitely
dancing is it's like the most competitive one.
So I've heard. So I've heard.
It's just, there's no like taking anybody with you to the top. It's sort of very much when you're at an audition, you're on your own. I find in the music industry, that happens. And especially with the swimming as well, that it was very competitive, and that's why I walked away. But with singing and just music in general, it's like, I've never felt like I have to full on, like, I've given recognition to every single person that's ever helped me, but it's never been like, oh, I'm in this, so you better, you know, do this and do this and do this and pay me royalties. And every time, it's not like that. It's like, yeah, for sure, I'm happy to contribute and help you with this dream. I have a mate, like my guitarist, who I tried to give him money to record for me, and he was like, no, I don't want to, I just want to do this for you. So like,
that's so nice.
Yeah, it's like, and even like Carlos, like, he could have charged me so much more to do the producing, and he was like, no, like, I want to support you, just do this. So it's, you know, it's one of those things where it's not so much thinking about yourself all the time, it's thinking about helping others and knowing that, you know, like, they'll be there for you because if any of my friends that got into my music wanted me, I'd be there in a heartbeat. Because it's not it's one of those things where it's not about you know, how much money you can make off of it or how much recognition you can get from it. It's about just knowing that they'll be there for you at the end of the day. And, you know, like something amazing you can make. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that my music wouldn't be where it was, and that EP wouldn't have been what it was if it hadn't been for each person that was involved.
I
Like
completely understand. I
yeah,
agree. It also puts you in a better headspace knowing that you have so much support behind you. I mean,
definitely.
family, yes, one thing, but also this
Yeah,
community of talented artists who
yeah,
are truly like great at what they do that are willing to help you.
definitely.
Money is a whole nother object. It's more about like doing
Yeah,
favors for each other and building each other up and using
exactly.
each other's networks to make each other better.
Yeah, it's just the amount of like power that can come from collaboration and just like working together. And it's the
Yeah.
experience. Like when you're in there and you know, my friends get really excited and they're like, okay, can I do this? And I'm like, go for it.
You
Let's
do
see
whatever
how
you want. Exactly.
exactly. It's like it's all about getting that second opinion and being open to the fact that I'm a growing artist. I'm not
Right.
top, you know, one of Spotify, you know, like it's not, it's
Sure, sure.
you can grow and you can get better, and you get better by working with other people that have
Yeah.
been doing it longer than you and have different ideas.
You'll remember these days and you'll look back on them and it'll make you so happy that you've chosen to
Exactly.
do things the way that you've chosen
Yeah,
to do them.
I agree.
Um, so I want to know, obviously it's tough right now. I know you're going in and out of lockdown and everything is so uncertain. So this is
Yeah.
sort of a two-part question. The first part is, do you want to tour these songs? And given the availability, can you even plan anything to do so?
Yeah, so I've never really gigged, to be honest. It's
Okay,
never, and it's more like it's not like from not having any opportunity. It's just it's an
sure.
underlying issue. When I first sang on stage, when I was 13, I got bullied really bad. And I was very insecure back then. I didn't have the backbone that I have now in terms of just putting it out there and not really caring if I get, you know, criticized, because people are going to talk
Sure.
about you no matter what. So I didn't sing for, I reckon, about 8 years.
Wow.
Um, and that really put me backwards in terms of, you know, networking myself and getting out there and
Sure.
singing and doing my own music. So it's actually really funny. I did an open mic here in Wollongong, and then COVID happened again. And I really wanted to get into it. Yeah, I was like emailing places and trying to do things. And I had a few things lined up where I could have started, and then everything just came crashing down. So what I've decided to do, which I'm seeing a lot of artists do it, I think it's great, is I'm going to actually start doing a live stream on my Instagram page.
There you go. That's the way to
Yeah,
do it.
yeah. So, because I'm like, you know, people are in lockdown down here, especially my friends. They're bored, like they've got
Sure.
nothing to do. So I was like,
Yeah.
if you know, if I can do that, and it doesn't have to be serious. Like I said to my roommates, come in and be goofs and, you know, have some fun with it. And I'll play some tunes. I'll take requests and I'll play my songs as well. Like it's just something fun. And I think I really like doing non-serious stuff. Like I think music is serious, but it can also be something that brings people together and you can have fun. And some of the
Totally.
best things I've been to is when the artist really gets involved with the crowd and they're like, yeah, let's just do this, whatever. Like,
Right? Yeah, I mean, don't get me
yeah,
wrong. I love the types of concerts that are like Broadway musicals where everything needs to be like A, B, C,
yeah,
D. But when,
yeah,
someone throws out, play this song or play that, like,
definitely.
responding with the audience can be half the fun. And
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
especially on a live stream where it's like
yeah,
friends and family, and yeah, you even get some new people and you start expanding from there. Plus,
yeah,
I assume that it would make it a little bit easier once you decide to really get out there and
yeah.
make it happen for yourself.
Yeah, I've always said to myself, I'll release music first and then I'll gig because people will know my songs.
Sure,
But then
sure.
I know a lot of, I think that was just me putting it off, to be honest. Like that was just
Mhm.
me going, oh, I'm too scared still. What if people judge me? Because I know that a lot of other bands that I have gone and watched, like the Honeys who are in Wollongong, they have like very openly on radio shows said that they choose their songs that they record based on the crowd appeal, which I think is great.
Really? So they
Yeah,
play unreleased songs and then record them
they've got
based
two
on.
songs out and both songs have been from like what their crowd has wanted, so they've noticed the reaction that their
Okay.
fans are giving to it, and that's what they've done, which I think is great too. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, okay, like maybe I, you know, should rethink being so insecure about it all the time, because I think, you know,
Sure. I think we covered them like a year ago. I'm pretty sure.
probably,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
yeah,
so. Yeah, they were
yeah,
great.
it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, no, they're really
So
cool.
I want to know, so hypothetically speaking, let's say, okay, you've got a gig scheduled and the venue manager says, okay, Brooke, we're super excited to have you, but you only get one song to play.
Oh,
Which song are you picking to really wow the crowd and bring them in?
sorry, I've got asthma at the moment.
Okay.
Oh, I reckon, it's so hard. I think based off the streams,
Mhm.
I think it would be the toss up between Hope You're Happy Now and Couldn't Wait for You.
Okay.
Couldn't Wait for You has, I'm not gonna lie, it was actually my least favorite. Not be,
Really?
not because of how it came out, but because of the subject matter. It really didn't, like, I really wasn't, like, not that I wasn't vibing with it anymore, but I'd written it so long ago that it was kind of like,
Sure.
you know, I'm not really caring about it much anymore. But my roommates actually hadn't heard that song, and then it released and they were like, we haven't heard this since you were playing it on the piano. And I was like, oh really? So I played it for them and they loved it. Like, they were like, that's our favorite one. Now everyone's been streaming that one more than
Sure.
anything. Of course it happens like that.
You were too close to it. You had heard it too many times.
Yeah, and
You
that was
fell
a
out of
thing.
love with it. I get
Like,
it.
I literally we had that instrumental done, like, I reckon 4 months ago, if not more. So I hadn't really, like, I'd sort of just put it on the done table,
Sure.
and then did the vocals, and I was like, it's done, don't think about it, you know, like, that's one less thing I have to worry about.
Mhm.
But I definitely think from, like, I think it's the beat of it and how, like, catchy it is, that people have, like, really gone to that. Like, that's sitting at like 10 or 20 more streams than the rest of the songs.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so but then Hope You're Happy Now it's my baby. Like, out
Sure.
of all of those songs, like, it's something that, it's about a subject matter that I've really struggled with. Like, I've really struggled with getting closure on it, and with people understanding my point of view and not judging me for it. And so putting it into a song was like a really big deal for me.
Mhm.
And that song's going to get a lot of big deals made about it. I'm just going to drop that one right there.
That's all right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I definitely think those two would be on par.
Okay.
I don't know how to choose. I'd probably have to get someone else to choose. I'd be like, you
Yeah,
pick.
you know what? There's no wrong answers. You're all good.
Yeah.
I promise.
Yeah.
So we are days away from the halfway point of 2021, which
I
is
know.
crazy. So one thing I want to know, so aside from the music, are there any personal goals that you've set for yourself as a person for the rest of this year?
Love myself a little more.
Okay.
I think everyone could do that.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think this EP, if it taught me anything, was, well, I like, the enemy is literally about me being my worst enemy. That was a big, tough pill to swallow, because I think that at this day and age, we're all so quick to be like, oh no, I wouldn't have done that, or like, I couldn't have done that to myself, I couldn't have put myself in that situation, especially when it comes to mental health.
Mhm.
It's really tough to just, you know, have a look at yourself in the mirror and go, are they doing that to me, or am I doing that to me?
Right.
And yeah, so I think definitely my goal for this year is, despite what's going on in the world, despite where COVID takes everybody, to not have to rely on other people's validation for me.
Mhm.
To be able to go, I'm okay and I'm good, and I don't need that 10,000 messages a day to prove that.
It's a
And
great goal.
yeah, like, I think doing it for the 6-year-old little girl that I once was, that didn't
Mhm.
think I would have songs on Spotify 110%. I never believed that. Had no belief in myself whatsoever. So yeah.
Great answer. I also want to know, because we're a music blog and we listen to music incessantly,
Yeah.
what are you listening to? What are you enjoying aside from your own music these days?
I am so an old school person. I always say
That's
I was
okay. Doesn't need to be new. Doesn't need to be new.
No, I think what I've been streaming lately is been listening to a lot of Foo Fighters.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not like, I look like a type of person that would listen to chick stuff, but put on like Bon Jovi
Hey, never
Nirvana.
judge a book.
Yeah, I'm down for that. So yeah, I definitely think like Nirvana and all that kind of stuff. I think whatever I'm feeling is what music I listen to. And right now I'm feeling very angry with the world. Like, I don't like being in lockdown. I'm such an outdoor person. So that really reflects my music. Yeah. So definitely like 90s, 80s sort of vibe going on right now in my playlist.
I love that. You know what? Sometimes you just need to scream it out. You need to rock out and headbang a little bit, really get the frustrations out. I fully understand. Right there with you. I have one more question for you, and it's something that I like to close things up with. So, for the person that is going to discover you from this, and for the person that is going to dive into your music for the first time, what is an opening message that you would like to say to them as they enter your world?
I think that once you enter my music and once you listen to it, you really get to know the real me. It's as raw as it can be, and you'll never know me better than when you're listening to a song I've composed. And it's as raw from the composition process where it's just me with my piano and my vocal cords and doing it, to choosing who's in it. Every little aspect of my production has a thought into it. So my music is me. Like, there's nothing more real, and there's nothing that defines me more than what I put out in my music. Yeah.
Amazing. Brooke, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time today. I'm super happy that we could make this work. For everyone else out there, Clarity is out. Stream it, listen to it, and actually listen to it. Take the time to listen to the lyrics and make those connections, because it will pay off in the end.
Thank you so much. Thank you
You're
for
very
having
welcome. You're very welcome. We will definitely speak soon, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you again.
me. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.